Okay, ready? I feel good. I feel a lot more warmed up and ready to go. Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. So today is really exciting because Chris and I are sitting down to do a little Q&A video, which we've never done before. But a while ago I asked on my Instagram if you guys had any questions. And so there was kind of two categories. There was like just general life, personality, fun questions, and then there was like relationship questions. So instead of this video being half an hour long, I think we're gonna do it in two different parts. I got my coffee, Chris has his water because, fun fact, he does not drink coffee, which is unfortunate. Maybe one day. My mug says, let's stay home, so it seems like a very appropriate mug for these days. Since we are in quarantine / staying home as much as possible, we have lots of time to answer your questions.
Let's jump right into the first question.
Okay, what is the first question?
The first question is, what's your favorite color? I think when you were young, you have your favorite color, right? You write it in blue. My favorite was blue. Some crazy people say yellow. I don't know why. No kidding. But I think for me, it changes even in seasons. I mean, right now it's probably this color right here, that dark green.
Yeah.
And I think in general, I like darker colors. I call them royal color.
That's true.
Right? It's kind of like the British racing green, which is beautiful, or the royal navy blue, or whatever.
Yeah,
so,
I like neutrals, tan and blush and terracotta, like a light orangey kind of color. So those are my favorite colors. But I think right now this dark green, it's kind of my favorite. So yeah. Okay, question number 2 is, what do you guys do for work?
I work part-time in the church as a worship pastor. We have kind of like 2 church services. One is in the morning and one is in the evening. And in the evening, it's more like the younger community. And so I'm the worship lead or worship pastor in that community. It's super fun. I love it. And I do that 20%. 80% I'm a manager at a movie theater, which is also super fun. And it's amazing. We can watch all the movies for free. And that's just awesome. And Rachel is actually working at the same place.
I also work at the movie theater, so he's technically my boss. And so that's actually really awesome and super fun that we get to work together. Since we live in Switzerland and I don't really speak a lot of German, my job options are limited. So I work at the movie theater and it's actually an awesome job. I just clean the movie theaters and check the movies and check the bathrooms, and it's actually pretty awesome, and we get to spend lots of time together. And yeah, do I want to do it for the rest of my life? Not really, but for right now it's actually a really good job, so I do enjoy that.
So with that, we come right to the next question, which is favorite movie.
That's a good one, but that's also a really hard one.
That is hard. Because
we work at the movie theater, we can go to the movie theater for free, and so we probably see every movie that comes out.
Yeah, almost every.
And we're big movie people, so anything that comes out on Netflix, Amazon Prime, we've pretty much watched it. So it's hard to narrow down. Maybe we'll do top 3. I
start with one movie I can watch a million times, maybe not a million, but I've watched it probably like 20-30 times. It's Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. It's one of my favorite movies. And then, because I love music, I think one of my favorite kind of like musical movie is The Greatest Showman. I love that movie. Such great soundtrack and just everything about it. I love Hugh Jackman in it. And then there's an older movie I really love, A Perfect World. It's with Kevin Costner. It's directed by Clint Eastwood. Love Clint Eastwood. He is pretty old, right?
He's pretty old.
He is pretty old, but he still does such an amazing job in like Gran Torino and all these other movies.
Which I've never seen, so we have to watch that one time. The first one that I think about is Braveheart, which I actually haven't seen in years. Mostly probably because it's really long, so I feel like it takes some like commitment to watch, but it is one of my favorite movies. And fun fact, there was a time in my life when I would fall asleep to the Braveheart soundtrack almost every night because it's really beautiful. If you like bagpipes and Scottish music. And then my second favorite one is Secret Life of Bees, and it's a book turned into a movie. and it's so good. It's with Dakota Fanning, Alicia Keys. It's set in like the 60s, I think. And then third, I love The Greatest Showman too. I love that, but I would actually probably say Pride and Prejudice is my favorite, which I feel like is a very typical girl movie. But I love Pride and Prejudice. It's probably one of those movies that I could watch over and over. And the Keira Knightley version, not the old super long version of Pride and Prejudice. The next question is, what do you miss about Canada?
You can start with that.
For me, besides the obvious like family and friends and community, I really miss that. Probably be the language and being able to communicate and speak with each other. There's that. And I feel like as a true Canadian, I have to say that I miss Tim Hortons, which I do. I miss a good ice cap and a coffee, double.
What I miss, not just about Canada, but North America, is like cheap food, and especially cheap fast food and eating out. Because here in Switzerland, it's just, we do it maybe once a month because it's so expensive. And first, it's expensive, and second, you don't really get a lot of food for what you pay.
No.
Even like McDonald's is so expensive, and so we didn't never really do that. And so I really miss that. I miss just like going out to eat, or I really miss Taco Bell, to be honest. Yes.
Me too. I would also agree with that. I really miss different kinds of restaurants and going out to eat and stuff. It's just not really a huge, well, there are places, there just isn't a lot of variety, I find, and it's really expensive. So we don't do it a lot here.
Okay, let me ask you then the next question, because this is more about you. Did you adjust to the life in Switzerland? Do you speak German now?
Well, we've been living here for how long?
2 years.
It'll be 2 years in August, at the end of August. So I would say fairly. Like, I think I am a lot more comfortable than I was at the beginning with a lot of different things. And I think in general, just like our life here and our home here, I've gotten comfortable with that. And I think working is also a big part of that, is having a job and feeling more like integrated into like culture here and living here. Even compared to 6 months ago, I feel way better here. Do I speak German now? I can understand more than I can speak. So especially when it comes to Swiss German. So if people are talking, sometimes, yeah, I can understand like the gist of the conversation, what people are talking about. That's been something that, yeah, I probably could have put more time and effort into, but yeah, so I guess long story short, not really. No. Okay, the next question is, what are some of your favorite nonfiction books?
Actually, I go get one.
Okay. I will also go get one, and then we can show you.
One each. Okay.
Oh, whoops. No, it says some of your favorite. Plural, so.
One of my favorite books is called Chase the Lion. It's by Mark Batterson. And it says here on the front, if your dream doesn't scare you, it's too small. And I think that book really changed my life and like dreaming big. How it's written, it's more like little stories from people that dream big and how God fulfilled their dreams and how he just like used them.
Okay, two of my favorites here. The first is called The Broken Way by Anne Voskamp. And this is a really beautiful book. The way she writes, it's kind of like poetic, and I don't know, she just has a really beautiful way of weaving the story together and just talking about processing brokenness in our life and things that we've gone through. And it kind of just helps you also to feel like normal, like, oh, I feel these things and I've experienced these things, and as a Christian it's okay, I don't have to be perfect, so that you can have abundant life in Christ. So this is a really, really good one. And then this one is, you can tell it's one of my favorites, it's falling apart. It's called Prayer by Richard Foster, who also writes, what is the book? Spiritual Disciplines, but this one is just on prayer, and it's literally like every chapter is a different kind of prayer, and I feel like each chapter resonates differently in different seasons in my life. So I read it cover to cover before, but I find myself like in different seasons pulling it out and just reading like the chapter that I feel like is applying to my life, and it's so good. So if you want to go deeper in your prayer life, this is an awesome one.
What made you start a YouTube channel? And any tips for beginners?
I feel like this is a question for both of us, but I guess mostly me. It was my idea, I think, to start a YouTube channel, but honestly, I can say this, I don't think I would have actually started it without you encouraging me to do it, because I don't know, it's one of those scary things. It's kind of strange. You're talking to yourself and kind of like, what am I going to talk about? What is my message? But it's something that I've wanted to do for a really long time. Yeah, I just had this desire to have a different creative outlet, and I thought this could be an awesome way. And also, we had just moved to Switzerland when I started it, and so I had a lot of time on my hands, and I also wanted to document this time in our life. And so it's been really cool to even be able to go back and watch our video of us moving into our first apartment and adjusting to life in Switzerland. And it's been really special to have those memories on film. And then any tips for beginners? Just do it. If you're thinking about making a YouTube channel, you're like, what will people think? People think I'm weird, you know, just do it.
I think one really big thing is just be yourself.
Yeah.
I think that is huge, because maybe I can say this, but in the beginning, Rachel, when she started filming, she always changed her voice in the beginning. And I was like, why are you changing your voice? This is so weird. And for me, even to watch you have a totally different voice. And then she stopped doing that, which is awesome. So just be yourself. I think everyone has interesting stories and interesting things, and find your, we always say that, find your little niche, or people would love to do. I don't know, maybe you love to draw, and so do drawings, draw on YouTube, and or just find your passion, and then I think that is really important.
Okay, so the next question is, how do you have healthy friendships? When you are in a toxic friendship, what do you do?
Wow.
That's, I feel like, a loaded question.
I think I would start with you need boundaries. You always need boundaries. That is really important. And if you're in a toxic relationship, just walk away. To be honest, as hard as it sounds, but it's so important, and maybe it's hard for you to walk away, but and you will say like, oh yeah, it was worth it, even if it hurt in the moment. I know it can hurt to break off.
If it is something that's affecting you, affecting your emotional health, spiritual health, mental health, it is something that you probably need to distance yourself from, whether it just be for a season or forever, and just make sure you're doing it in love, to communicate with the other person, that it's out of love and it's out of respect for them. It's not because you hate them or not because you're trying to spite them, but just doing it in a really loving way. So I think too, having healthy, not only healthy, but like quality, genuine friendships, is don't be afraid to go deep and to ask the hard questions. That's how I've made some of like my best friends, is because we've walked through hard things, and because we have fun together and we can joke and we can be silly, but we're also not afraid to ask each other how we're doing, and to keep each other accountable, and to share our past, and to just be there for one another in the good times and the bad times. And so I think that's a really key in developing deep, meaningful friendships and relationships.
Second last question is, where is your dream place to travel?
Okay.
So I have a really weird dream place to travel.
Have I heard of this?
Yes, I think so.
I know what you're gonna say.
A lot of people think it's weird, and it's Antarctica. I would love to go to Antarctica. The thing is, I love cold. I hate hot weather, and it's just not my thing. I love cold. And I think just even like nature-wise, when you have the water, the dark, and then the ice with the white, and you have that contrast in things, and taking pictures there and flying my drone there, that would just be a dream. And just going to Antarctica would be such a unique place to go, and I feel like so unreached and untouched. Nothing like nature there is just so beautiful, and so that's one of my dream places to go to.
Well, you've been to a lot of countries, so you're limited. But for me, I would love love to go to Ireland and Scotland. Those two are on my top of my list. I really would love to go to South Korea. I have spent time in the airport, but I've never actually been. And Japan. I really love Asia, and I don't know, just how colorful in the city and the food, and I think it would be really fun to go together. So the last question is, if you could live anywhere in the world, ignoring the cost of living, where would you live?
Ooh.
Okay, I know what mine is.
Okay, you can go first then.
Honestly, I've thought about this before, and you know, I've been to a lot of places, I've traveled around, and so this might sound like a boring answer, but it would honestly be Vancouver. I think if I could live anywhere in the world, I would probably live in Vancouver, Canada, because I love the city. I love that you are close to the ocean, but you're close to the mountains, and I love Canada, and I don't know, I think that that would be where I would live, but it is very expensive to actually live in Vancouver.
I love that, and I would definitely come with you.
Oh, thanks.
I think for me, one of my dream places to live is Norway. People know that I love Norway. I'm always dreaming about Norway. Shout out to my Norwegian friends. I feel like it's a smaller version of Canada sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
It's so beautiful with all the tiny islands, and just I think like the people are so friendly there. I have so many good friends from Norway. Yeah, it is really my dream place to live in, Norway. Yeah.
One day, we'll see.
Maybe one day, hopefully. I'm learning Norwegian right now, a tiny bit, so hopefully one day. Yeah, so I think that's it for the first Q&A.
Hope that you guys got to know us a little bit better, and let us know where you would live in the world. If it didn't matter how much it costs to live there, anything else, where would you choose to live? We'd love to hear. Thank you guys so much for watching and for joining us, and stay tuned for part 2, where we will dive deeper into relationships and our story, and yeah, it's gonna be good. We'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.
Bye.